Hello there, you are live on NutriCare Daily with me, Manuel. As you know, NutriCare Daily is a nutritional channel that focuses on baby health. We take the nursing mother or parents on an escape on how to use diet to check their baby's infants' dietary related problems. And today on this show, we are looking at one of the key infant problems that the nursing mothers or mothers as a whole battle with day in, day out, and the topic is convulsion. Other part of the world is known as seizures. And to help me do this discussion, I have with me one of the seasoned nurses in the country, in the person of Mr. Solomon Thompson. Mr. Solomon, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we start, can you give us a brief about who Mr. Thompson is?
Okay. As you rightly said, my name is Solomon Thompson. I'm with the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's Rich, the day surgical unit. We deal with day cases, and we specialize in endoscopy.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so Mr. Thompson, have you in a way in your duties have cases me
Okay, Mr. Thompson, start with you.
Okay.
With my
Why don't you start from okay, Mr. Thompson?
Mr. Thompson, per a recent research I was
But so the audience kasa, only come and kasa, only make kasa okay, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, per a little search that I've done so far on nursing mothers and some of the issues they encounter has to do with convulsion. And especially in the remote areas, it seems to me that convulsion is on the rise. What contributes to that, and also what is convulsion?
Okay. Convulsion basically is a sudden, violent, irregular movement of the body caused by involuntary contraction of muscles.
Okay.
So, with relating it to babies, it has to do normally with a burst of chemical reactions in their brains.
Okay.
That makes them convulse. So, interchangeably, we can use convulsion and seizures interchangeably.
Okay.
So, when you hear convulsion or fits or seizures, they are the same line.
Okay. So convulsion is
seizures,
fits, they are all in the same
Yeah.
line. Why is it that convulsion seems to be rampant in rural areas? Is there any special reason?
Well, per research, it has to do with late treatment of infection.
Okay.
With babies, they are not able to tell you what they are feeling. So maybe when your baby is a bit warm, you try to just dab the baby to bring down the temperature. And when the temperature is down, you think all is well. But there are a lot of things going inside in the baby. So I would advise, if your baby is running a temperature for 1 or 2 days, after that, please take the baby to the hospital. So medical attention could be granted to the baby. Yeah.
Wow. You talking about temperature, I read something that also bacteria contribute to convulsion or seizures. Why is it so?
Babies react to infection with temperature.
Okay.
So when their immunity are not that built up well, and they have bacteria in their system, then they try to calm it down. When their body antigens are not able to calm it down, then it bursts into that chemical reaction that happens in the brain. Then they are convulsion, they start to convulse.
Wow. But per your search or per research, has there been instances where there have been cases of recorded deaths relating to convulsion?
Well, convulsion on its own doesn't cause the death, but the external environment causes the death.
Okay, so talking about external environment, what are some of these contributing factors?
Okay, that's how the mothers or the family react to the convulsion.
Okay.
Of course, people say when your baby is convulsed, you hold the baby upside down. Why should that be? Holding the baby upside down, the baby could choke.
Okay.
So it will cause the death. So the external environment has caused the death, but not the convulsion.
What you said just brought back to a story I heard in one of these towns, that there was this baby who used to suffer from convulsion, and according to the parents, they did everything that they could to bring the child back to life. The child couldn't come back to life. So what they had to do was to put water on fire, and when the water started boiling, they placed the 2 feet of the baby into the water.
They want
And
to cook their baby.
I'm surprised. That's how far ignorance can take a person.
Oh.
And surprisingly, they said when they did that, the baby was able to come back to life. To life. So, per what you are saying, it means that ignorance is a leading role in the death of in the death cases recorded relating to convulsion.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So, what are some of the signs and symptoms of convulsion?
Some of the signs and symptoms of convulsion, we have loss of consciousness, eye rolling,
Okay.
face turning blue. When you see your baby's face turning blue, means that your baby is not getting enough oxygen.
Well, I'm very curious to know
The
how
colours.
the color of the eye turning blue. You said the face.
The
Then-
face,
yeah.
not the eye. The face turns
face.
blue. Normally, you won't see it in a dark child, but it will be more obvious in a white child. So when you see that kind of some signs, you know your baby is not getting enough oxygen, and when they are not getting enough oxygen, it could lead to death or something very fatal. Yes.
Wow.
Then we have stiffening of the arm, legs, and the whole body, jerky movement of the arm, lack of control over muscles, the inability to respond.
Okay.
You can see when they start to convulse, you'll be pinching them, expecting them to cry. If your baby is in the talking age, you expect the baby to say Ajay or something, but your baby is not responding. So that leads to the inability to respond to stimuli.
Wow.
Okay.
And with regards to responding to stimuli, can we say that seizures or convulsion in a way is related to epilepsy?
No, epilepsy is a condition on its own.
By looking at the signs and symptoms, someone might say that seizures and epilepsy are kind of on the same line.
Epilepsy has to basically do with the brain structure. That's for epilepsy. But convulsion has to do with chemical reactions in the brain. So there are two different things. Yes.
Wow. And what's the line between a cerebral palsy child and a child with convulsion?
Well, cerebral palsy child is also a condition that the child finds that their muscles are not strengthened enough for them to move like we all do. So they start to lie or crawl on the floor. Then convulsion has to do with the chemical reaction in the brain that has to do with the jerking and the spasm that people have to experience in their whole body.
So, Mr. Thompson,
Same.
talking about the brain, when a child suffers from convulsion in the early stages of life, will it go in a long way to affect the person's?
No.
I see.
No.
So, in the early stages,
Yes.
that's all.
That's all.
So there won't be any
No.
effect of the brain later in life.
No.
I see.
So as I rightly said, convulsion has to do with condition. So it's maybe a warning sign to a condition that's happening. So when you tackle that condition, then you are done with it. It won't have to show up in the later stages of life.
So in the extreme cases, what are some of the things we are possible to look out for? That maybe a convulsion that is not being treated, what can it lead to?
Well, then it's showing you there is a condition that you have to look out for. For meningitis, tumor in the brain. There is a brain damage somewhere. Tumor has to do with growth in the brain. Yes, and there is a neuron. There's also a neuron. What do you call it? A neuron stem that has also been broken. So all this, when they are checked in the early stages of life, it won't have to show up in the latter stages.
Wow. So can we say that probably the pregnant woman in the course of the pregnancy didn't do certain things that resulted in the child suffering from convulsion, or it's just something that just happened without the mother doing something or not doing something?
Well, convulsion basically has nothing to do with what someone did or what someone didn't do. It's an infection. I'm not saying convulsion is an infection. It's an early warning sign to a condition that could come up. So when it is tackled, you won't have a convulsion. So it is. I think the rate is 2 out of 10 children that will experience convulsion as of now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Is it
Comparing it to me and you when we were a bit younger,
okay?
it was like that rampant.
Okay. So, what would you advise that parents do when a child converts? The immediate first aid treatment, even before they rush the baby to the hospital.
First, you make the you lie your baby down. You make your baby lie down. Do not restrict the spasm.
What is a spasm?
As in like holding the baby down for the baby not to jerk. When you do that, you break a bone, and lots of things can happen to the baby. Let the baby lie down on a protected surface. If the then you can do a padded pillow or a padded cloth. You can put it at the head of the baby so that the baby won't cause it won't cause an head injury to the baby. Yeah, clear all sharp objects away from the baby so that it won't hurt the baby. Then I want to really put so much strain on this one. Do not put anything in the baby's mouth.
Why?
Okay, when we do that, we end up choking the baby.
Okay.
When we do that, we end up choking the baby. And since this thing, we won't really know what is going on in the throat of the baby, and we are looking out for a good airway. Yeah. So when you put anything in the baby, you can end up choking your baby. Then after that, it lasts within 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, you think your baby is okay now, you can take your baby to the hospital.
Okay. Wow.
But all the same, you have to also monitor the timing, when it started and when it ended.
Okay. Because earlier on you said that within a space of 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
So when it exceeds that, it means it's something serious than
Yes,
convulsion.
that you have to.
Okay. So you said it shouldn't exceed 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. I care to know whether pregnant women in the course of antenatal and postnatal, they are being taken through these infant diseases like the convulsion, like the meningitis, like the fevers and all of that. Are they being taken through all these for them to always be on the lookout for early signs of these diseases?
Yes. Now at the antenatal, they have a school.
Okay.
Not you just going to the clinic, going to see the obstetrics to look at you or give you a medication. But now there is a school after you give him birth, even how to breastfeed.
Okay.
What to look out for in your baby, how your each month what your baby is supposed to achieve in the growth rate. So now there is a lot more that has been incorporated into antenatal. Yes.
Is it to the advantage of those in urban areas, or it has been narrowed down to those in rural areas?
No, it's with everybody. Everybody now.
But surprisingly, you get to one village somewhere and they have no idea what antenatal, postnatal is all about. There is even no access to good health facility in their area. And we hear it in the news everywhere. So how then do these people in such areas benefit from this training? And even with regards to what we are discussing concerning convulsion.
And all that. I think it's not Rome wasn't built in a day. It's with time it will get to them. But I think it's going on a rapid stage now. So everybody will be involved now.
Okay. A quick one there, in case you just join us, you are live on NutriCare Daily with me, Manuel. And today on this show, we are looking at convulsion, what convulsion is all about, the signs that you need to look out for, and also the immediate first aid treatment you need to give to a child suffering from convulsion. And helping me do this discussion, I have with me Nurse Solomon Thompson. This show is proudly brought to you by Kankesi. This show is brought to you by Kankesi Divine Origins event, and also Masterminds Concept. They are into lighting, stage lighting, and all of that.
What you like Divine Origins? Don't forget to subscribe and
Okay.
so then for this show.
This show is brought to you by Kind Kesi Divine Origins. They are into event planning, coordination, decoration, and all of that. In case you just joined us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Together, let's grow. Okay, so let's dive deeper into it as we are wrapping up. What are some of the advice you give to nursing mothers concerning how they need to take care of their babies in order for them not to be having frequent convulsion and all of that?
Okay, so one, take a good look or take a good care of your baby. When your baby starts to run a temperature for first day, second day, and the temperature is not being controlled, you have to take your baby to the hospital. Now, you also look at your baby that physically. You know your baby is changing in color. Normally babies, they thank God babies come out a bit fairer than they before they get their original colors, like being dark or fair. Yeah. When you see that your baby color is changing and is now being bluish, then that means your baby is not having enough oxygen supply. And not having enough oxygen supply to the brain can also cause convulsion.
Not to cut you, it seems to me that African parents or African mothers, they are nurses on their own. Anytime they see that the child is running temperature, the first thing they do, they look for paracetamol syrup. They just give it to the baby just to calm the temperature. Will you advise that, or they should really monitor those things and not be given drugs here and there?
Rather, tepid sponge.
Okay.
Don't give medication. You are not a prescriber.
Okay.
So please don't do medication. Tepid sponge, using warm water in a towel to like dap your baby. I think that also brings down the temperature. But you've done that for the first day, the second day, please go to the hospital.
Okay. So mothers, in case you are watching us or you are listening to us, don't be given medication. You are not nurses, you are not doctors. All that we advise is that you just use a damp cloth or towel on the baby. Tepid sponge on the baby, and when it keeps happening or when the temperature is still on the rise, you take the baby to see a medical practitioner. So you can continue.
Yeah, and after that, to do good nutrition. When you feed your baby well, you won't have to go through all the stress of going in and out of hospital. I think those three could help. Yes.
And I love the last part. Do good nutrition. And you know, NutriCare Daily, that's what we do. We are running a course, or we are championing a course that is just towards parents using diet to curb infants' dietary problems. This issue of kwashiorkor, marasmus. There are issues that you can just use ordinary healthy meal to solve without a baby taking in drugs and all of that. So I love that part that you said we should
do good nutrition.
Do good nutrition. Okay, so Nurse Thompson, thanks so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for welcome. So viewers, this is how far time will allow us on this show. So I come your way same time. Next week is NutriCare Daily with me, Manuel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye-bye.